the NI Golf Podcast with Paul Kelly and Maurice J.
It certainly is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be listening to the NI Golf Podcast episode
45.
And on the podcast this evening, Mr. Kelly,
we've got all the amateur news and results from what's been a busy period.
We hear from Stephanie Meadow, a winner on the Sumatra Tour.
We've also got all the pro news.
And we're looking back on the Masters with US blogger Ryan Ballengee. Why does Patrick Reed defied opinion so much? That's the question.
The NI Golf Podcast, sponsored by Andrew Morris Golf. Have your swing analysed on TrackMan for a custom club fitting by our leading team of professionals.
So let's start where else but at Augusta for the opening major of the year. And before we even talk about the winner, Patrick Reed, there's lots of other stuff to talk about.
There is indeed. And starting with Tony Finau, who dislocated his ankle. Did you see that?
Of course I saw it. The whole world saw it.
Now, surely anybody who's listened to a golf podcast has seen this.
Yes.
But if they haven't, a brief rundown of what happened. Get it. You'll find it on YouTube. You'll find it somewhere, okay? He's playing the par 3 tournament. He's a hole in one. I think it might even been at the first. He takes off down the fairway, hands in the air.
Turns round for some bizarre reason.
His family's on the tee.
Was that what
gives
it is?
him the hole. Yes.
He turns backwards. Yeah.
And as he does, he puts his left foot down and it goes side roads and he dislocates it. Everybody in the place can see it popping out. So what does Tony do? He pops it back in again. And instead of calling an ambulance like the rest of us would do, what does Tony do? He goes on and plays the rest of the par 3 tournament. When he's finished, he goes for a wee scan. Scan comes back. Well, you've damaged it, but there's no brakes. You can't do it any more damage. So what does Tony do? Tony says, you know what? First time at the Masters, I'm playing. 4 rounds, finishes 10th, including a brilliant finish over the closing nine holes.
Even his first day it was like 4 under in the first day.
What do you see? And then over the last couple of days, he's been showing pictures of it again on social media. And it's black and blue.
I know.
And horrendous.
And probably went up like a balloon as soon as he finished.
And people say golfers are soft.
Beware.
That man is a warrior. An absolute warrior.
If that, it wouldn't even have got to the stage where if it was a footballer, because even if a footballer had stubbed his toe,
yeah, he'd have been rolling around.
He'd be rolling around, and he'd been out for 6 months.
Yeah,
right. He goes. I mean, you see, here's the thing. I have an affliction with ankles. Right.
I didn't know this.
Yes, I have bad ankles. Right. Okay. I have weak ankles.
Weak ankles.
Yeah.
I've never heard. Are you a cankle man?
Weak ankles.
Weak ankles.
No, I have weak ankles. Fork ankles.
Right. Okay.
Right. No, I do. I actually do have weak ankles.
Right. It's just an actual medical condition.
Do you want me to go into the detail?
No, it's okay.
No, well, it's because now you're being just mocking of my affliction.
Yeah, go on.
When I was born feet first.
Yes.
And I was breech. And my feet were tucked up underneath my legs, a bit like Tony Finau. Right? So that's how I was born.
Right.
Now, when you're obviously a baby, you're very floppy. And
yeah.
So whenever I come out, they had to go and put them back in. Right? I didn't know much about it. Can't really remember it. I was only like a few minutes old. Right? But ever since then, I've kind of had weakish ankles.
Okay.
So I would go over my ankles fairly regularly.
Okay.
How he managed to go on, I know what the pain's like. I know only too well what the pain's like. How he managed to go on and do what he did is beyond me. Like, he is now my superhero.
Definitely.
He is like, super Finau.
I don't know how he did it.
Unbelievable.
And then he said he just adopted his technique a wee bit. He just didn't get over onto his left side that much.
Not that much.
And he still hits it.
320 yards.
Oh, he was brilliant. Brilliant for Tony. Well done.
Unbelievable. Anyway, fire on.
Yeah, well, as you know, Rory McIlroy was there. And he was seemingly in pole position, was many people's favourites to complete the Grand Slam. He started the day playing in the final group with Patrick Reed. It was 3 shots behind. But from his first tee shot, when he hit it way right...
Well, he blocked it a bit. Stop exaggerating.
It was nearly out of bounds. Things didn't appear to be going so well for him. He signed for 2 over par 74 and finished tied for 5th. And here's what he said.
Of course it's frustrating, but it's hard to take any positives from it right now, but at least I put myself in a position. That's all I wanted to do. The last 4 years I've had top 10s, but it hasn't been, I haven't been close enough to the lead. Today I got myself there. I didn't quite do enough. But come back again next year and try. I've played in 2 final groups in the last 7 years. I've had 5 top 10s. I play this golf course well. I just haven't played it well enough at the right times.
Is there anything that you'll take that you'll examine from this that will hopefully serve you in the future?
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't give you a good answer to that right now because I'm just off the 18th green, but I'll sit down and reflect over the next few days and see what I could have potentially done better. More, whether it be mindset or I don't know. I just didn't quite have it today. I played some great golf yesterday, and I just didn't continue that golf into today. What's that? Yeah, a little bit. Just wasn't quite as trusting as I was the first few days. And that made a big difference.
When you got a bit flat out there and it got flat, could you diagnose it, and it was a case of just trying so hard to rectify it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was trying to hit good shots and good putts, and anytime I felt like I hit a decent shot, I either left myself on the wrong side of the pin or give myself a tricky one down the hill, or and then when I did get some opportunities, I didn't take advantage of them. So yeah, look, tough day, but I'll be back, and hopefully I'll be better.
Rory, is the putt on 2 really the one you'll stick with?
No, because I mean, putt on 2, I still made birdie. After where I was off the tee on 1, I would have taken 1 under through 2. So it was more giving that birdie back straight away on 3, and then obviously birdie on 4 was huge, and then giving it straight back again on 5. It was like every time I took a step forward, I took a step back in the next hole, and I think that was, that I had a chance to maybe put a little bit more pressure on them than I did, and I'd say that 3 and 5 are the ones that I look back on, and if I could have made pars there, it could have been a different story.
Rory, you had so much confidence yesterday, last night. What was different this morning? What was different today?
I don't know. I had a decent warm up. I didn't. I had a bit of a shaky drive off the first, but it was a really good up and down for par. And I hit some good shots out there. It wasn't as if I just didn't. Again, there's a lot of. I feel like momentum's a huge thing, especially in final rounds. You look at what Jordan did, what Ricky did. They got on a roll, and I didn't. I just, and we both, Patrick and I didn't at all. We were both around even par and just sort of grinding out there, and wasn't quite what we both had in mind. He just hung in there a little bit better than I did and got the job done.
Was it more pressure than you expected? You said you didn't feel like you'd have much pressure, but was it?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're playing in the final group of a major, there's always going to be pressure. But after I parred the first, that sort of settled me down. So it wasn't as if nerves got to me, or I just didn't quite have it.
He didn't quite have it. He's kind of said it all, and he's, he kind of countered all the stuff that people have been saying who didn't hear that press conference. That was the media scrum afterwards, and I heard our mate Greg Allen in there as well. We'll not mention his record in the Ryder Cup. So, that was he was in there, he was answering all the questions, he was as honest as he always is. It just didn't click for whatever reason. It just didn't click on the last day.
I thought it was interesting there with reference to his warm-up, because I sort of thought maybe it had a bad warm-up. Maybe just things had been a bit flat there. And when he came on to the first tee, he just couldn't get it going.
He was on a wee bit of it.
But it seems like he said he had a decent warm-up there, so you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Then obviously there's been people saying, if he had a decent caddy, he'd have been all right. Once again, that's ifs, buts and maybes.
Well, you don't
really know.
You don't know what the decisions were made out there that may have affected that or otherwise. So you don't really know.
All you do know is that when it came to the matter, it wasn't there for him, and that must be. It must be worry. That's going to worry him.
It's not going to worry him.
Don't think so.
No, I don't. Not at all. That was just an off day that happened to fall on the most important day this time. It used to be the Thursday and Friday where the bit of the slow starts going on, and then he would fire 7 under on the Saturday. So I think it's just the day has just been not a great day. He says he said he played some great shots. He absolutely did. He blocked one down the first, great up and down for his par. Your man already dropped a shot. He was 2 off. Next hole, putting for the eagle. Okay, that you would have thought that was a cert, right?
Yeah.
People were saying, if he had got that eagle, that would have really fired him up. He's kind of said no. He said there, I was happy enough to be one under after 2.
Yeah.
If you'd have told me in the first tee, I'd have taken
After the first drive,
yeah. It was the next 3 and 5, I think it was, where he drops the shots.
Yeah.
Because he was getting one and he was giving it back.
He couldn't get close enough to Reid to put any real pressure on him.
Yeah.
But and a lot of people have talked about his putting not being great on the day. And
it wasn't great on the day.
His whole game wasn't good.
Yeah.
The driving.
Well,
he missed a lot. He missed a lot of greens, Morris, and he missed
a few greens.
A lot of fairways.
His driving wasn't too. I mean, I sat down and started going through every single shot. Like I got to the 11th and I fell asleep. Not on the Sunday. This was on the repeats.
All right, so you were going through it analytically, right?
I was going and just to see what's the crack. Now there was nothing really jumping out other than some good shots, some okay shots, and some bad shots. It was kind of just an up and down round.
Yeah.
And unfortunately it fell on the he's driving 371 yards on the second hole. Do you know what I mean? And he's that amazing approach shot. What was 196 yards, probably an 8 iron down the hill, 4 feet for eagle. Misses the putt. It's just one of those. It's just, and then it was just that up and downness that kind of.
But the fact that he wasn't able to get himself going and get that, you just felt that, come on, Rory, this is the last day. Let's go. Let's really fire yourself up and get fired up into it. But there wasn't even any of that there. It was as if he knew this, and this just isn't there today.
I kind of thought of that afterwards.
Yeah,
because I remember I watched Gary Player was on doing an interview, right? And he was telling, I think it was probably Sarah on Sky or whatever, how he used to get himself fired up for one of the final days, and he basically. And I'd love to see Rory do this. He basically went into like a Tai Chi sort of crouch, right? And held it and then started slapping himself on the face. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. And that's how he used to do it. So maybe there's a business opportunity there. Slap around some pro tour players before they start, get them fired up.
You just felt that he was so flat, and on a day when he couldn't be flat, that was a worry.
And Rory did, we have seen Rory over the years. When he gets that bounce in his step, you know that he's going to be flying.
Yeah.
And maybe there is a bit of that, but just as he's getting older,
it was quite clear after about 9 or 10 holes that he was flat. And that there was, even at 9, you say, the Masters starts in the back 9. Not for Rory. It was flatlined all the way around.
Well, Shane Lowry was chatting to our friends at News Talk. So here's what Shane had to say about Rory.
Yeah, there's times when I think you'd even go back to the tee shot in the firsts where that throws you off. Like, you hit a shot like that, like Rory McIlroy is not used to hitting shots like that. He doesn't hit shots like that, and it was a good bit right. And it definitely threw him for a while. And obviously he hit 2 great shots into the second. And I believe if he held that putt, he probably would have went on to definitely contend on the back 9. But it was one of those, you hit that drive and then you miss that putt, and all of a sudden you don't trust yourself for the day. And like, we've both had it, I've had it, where you're just not trusting yourself, and that's the way it is. Unfortunately for him, it was on Masters Sunday. And if you look at it as well, like, I was looking at the golf on Sunday night and they showed a replay of Rory's first 9 holes, basically the putts he had missed. If he'd held anything in the front 9, he would have been right there coming the back 9. The thing people have to realise is there's a reason that only 5 people have ever won the Grand Slam, and he hopefully one day will win it, and that's what he says himself. But it's very difficult to do, obviously, and he's got a great chance. He's got another, I suppose he's definitely got another 15 years at it easily. So,
and that's the point.
Well, Shane makes a lot of sense there, in the sense that not trusting it. When it's really on the line, a couple of shots that you're not used to hitting.
It's into your head a wee bit.
And before you know it, for the likes of your average hacker, they expect to hit the odd bad shot. Yeah. But, the one that does everybody, for example, is a good old shank. After you hit your first shank, your next couple of pitch shots or iron shots are a bit, well, imagine if you're in the middle of the Masters, the green jacket's on the lane, the Grand Slams on the lane, and you throw in a couple of shots where you go, whoa, what the hell happened there?
Well, 2 points, as Shane said, he's got 15 years at least to have, and that'll be the case. As the years roll by,
This is going to happen every year now.
There's going to be this kind of expectation. There's going to be on him, and as the years roll by, it'll get less and less in his mind, if it is in his mind that much, and he'll just go out one of these times and he'll shoot 20 under.
Or alternatively, the opposite could happen, that every time he goes to the Masters, he'll be thinking, I've only got 14 left. I've only got 13 left.
No, I don't think so.
Well, in the end of the Sunday back nine excitement was provided by two Americans, Ricky Fowler and former champion Jordan Spieth. Spieth was absolutely unbelievable in that back nine. He was 9 behind Reed at the start of the final round, but turned on the fireworks. He carded 9 birdies in 16 holes. It had not been for bogey in the last, who knows, he might have got some sort of playoff even. He was amazing.
Yeah, he was. So was Paul Casey. Let's not forget Paul Casey.
He was early in the day, had got very low.
He was doing the same thing. He went, I think he went 5 or 6 in a row or something ridiculous.
Towards the end.
He had 2 birdies, eagle, 2 birdies.
That's right. Yeah. So it can be done. And Ricky Fowler then ultimately came closest to Reid. He had a final round of 5 under 67, but saw him finish at 14 under par. And Ricky probably maybe thought he was going to at least get into that playoff.
And then he held the putt, you see.
But Reid did the business again.
He did.
He was very good.
He was very good. We can't take it away from him. Fair play.
At clubstohire.com, you can take all the hassle out of your golf travel and rent your clubs before you fly. Clubs to Hire offer the very latest sets from just £32 per week, including the brand new M4 clubs from TaylorMade. And Clubs to Hire have just opened 3 new locations in Australia. That's 26 locations worldwide. So wherever you're travelling to play golf, choose the easy option and hire your clubs at clubstohire.com.
So the man left standing when the final putt was holed at Augusta was indeed Patrick Reed. The US star carded rounds of 69, 66, 67 and 71 to win by a shot. But the reaction to his victory has been muted, to say the very least. Even in America, no one seems particularly fussed by Reed's first major victory. But rather than us trying to work out why that is, we've asked a real-life American.
Actually, an American.
Actual American.
Yes.
To explain. None other than Ryan Ballengee. He's a Washington-based blogger at GolfNet and Newsnet, and he joins us now. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Ryan. Good to have you on the phone.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Not at all, Squire. So, what is it about Patrick Reed? Why does everybody hate him?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think I can best summarize it that when he's on the American Ryder Cup team or the American President's Cup team, he's our jerk. And he's the guy that we want on our team to be the guy everyone else hates on the other team.
Captain America!
Worked in it. Yes, exactly. Without the shield. And when he works in an individual capacity, that all changes. And all of a sudden, he is an awkward loner without many friends who has a checkered past. And he's the guy that stands in the way between Jordan Spieth and Ricky Fowler and Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy and major championships. And all of a sudden, the patrons at Augusta National, which have a pretty good idea of his past, given that he had much of it in Augusta, we're not as interested in rooting for him, and that's why you heard kind of a polite smattering of applause when he won, as opposed to what you would have heard when Spieth won, or even when Sergio won last year.
Yeah, people may not know much about that checkered past. I mean, I didn't know too much about it until he won the Masters. Just give us quite a summation of what that checkered past was or might have been.
Sure, it kind of falls into 2 buckets. So when he committed to collegiate golf at the University of Georgia, he was thought of as a potentially problem player, basically. But the coaching staff there, Chris Hack, who's a longtime coach there, thought that Reed would, once he got on campus, would do just fine. He would acclimate to college. He would get in with his teammates, and things would be okay. That wasn't the case. You know, he had a run-in with the law on campus with an illegal alcohol charge, basically. And then he was accused of a couple of different things while being on the golf team for a very short period of time. One, stealing a putter from one of his players, one of his teammates, and then also stroke shaving. He was accused of cheating in practice rounds and not following the rules. And ultimately, he was dismissed from the golf team and moved to Augusta State University, where they won back-to-back national championships, somewhat improbably, with Reed as kind of the lead player, and then several other players like Henrik Norlander, who went on to the PGA Tour, right behind him. And there he didn't really ingratiate himself to his teammates there, and didn't really have quite the same set of struggles, but was accused again of stroke shaving, and has kind of been held in that you're a cheater esteem since, even by a lot of his younger peers who played either collegiate golf against him or junior golf against him. And then the other bucket is his family. He hasn't really been in contact with his parents and sister for about 6 or 7 years now, and his parents, who spoke with Sports Illustrated, Golf.com and ESPN about that here in the States on that Sunday, on the Sunday Reed won, they've been speaking about this for several years on and off, and they give their side of the story. They said they had misgivings about Patrick marrying his wife, Justine, and that they had spoken up about that, and ultimately Reed married his wife and turned from them. And Reed, neither of them have really spoken much publicly about it. Justine has posted to Facebook about it, and she made some serious accusations that Patrick's parents abused him in some fashion as a young man.
Oof.
So that's kind of as much as they've said about it, but Patrick Reed does not want to talk about it, and I'm sure he has his reasons. But between those two things, there's kind of this sentiment that maybe there's more that meets the eye to Patrick Reed, and that what we don't know is negative instead of what we don't know is positive.
Yeah, family is family, and we all have families, and we all have family feuds. So as far as the family side of things goes, we can give him a bye-ball on that. But we have a saying here called gobshite. And for being a gobshite and being a cheat, sorry, you don't get a bye-ball for that.
Yeah, exactly. The worrying thing, I suppose, for Patrick, Ryan, is Paul here. The problem is that he doesn't seem to go out of his way to address these issues. His deal with the media is basically, I'm not going to talk about these things. So people don't really know what's going on. Do you think that he will do a wee bit of extra PR now to try and change that image of himself?
I don't know. I mean, he seems so sure of himself, and he seems so confident in his approach. I mean, he's a loner. He does not have playing practice partners usually. He doesn't have a lot of friends. His wife has usually been by his side. She was his caddy for a while now. His brother-in-law, Kessler, is. So it's kind of Team Reed versus the world. And part of me thinks that by him achieving this level of success, he'll feel it validates what he did to get here, and that is to not speak about the controversies in his past, and to not open up, and to not become perhaps friendlier to his peers or to fans for that matter. And then you could go the other way, and you could say, okay, well, now's my opportunity to clear the air. I don't know where he sits on that yet, and I'm not sure he's entirely thought about it yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I can imagine probably being just a few days removed from winning the biggest moment of your life. You're probably thinking still about that. But maybe in a few weeks or a few months, he comes around and says, you know what, I want to explain to people my past and what happened, and that I'm a different man now, and here's who Patrick Reed is today, and that's who Patrick Reed was when he was 18 or 19 years old. And I think if he does that and is genuine about it, I think people are, certainly in this country, are very forgiving of people who seem contrite and want to say I'm sorry for even stuff they shouldn't apologize for. So in the end, I think it's up to Patrick Reed, but I kind of get the feeling he's just going to keep doing what he's been doing.
Well, I was going to say, or maybe he won't come round, and maybe he won't change, and maybe he'll go, you know what, I've just won a major by being a shitty self like me, so I'm going to carry on doing that.
Exactly.
And he's not the first. I mean, look at Tiger. Tiger wasn't the most social, wasn't he? He was very focused. Look at Pat Perez, by his own admission. He says, I just want to get the job done. I don't need to talk to anybody. And so, it's maybe just the way he is, and the problems that he's had has compounded that. The bit that is hard for probably people to get over, as I say, family is family, but the accusations of cheating and all that kind of stuff, that's probably the hard part, So.
Yeah. I think he is certainly an interesting character, but would it be fair to say that the golf media and the sports media have focused more on the negative instead of the positive for Patrick Reed?
I think so, and I think that's in part because it's kind of shrouded in mystery. So there's this assumption that it's a story that's important to understand a champion and how they got to the point they got to, and if that includes bad things, that includes bad things. I feel like at the moment you achieve your greatest success, it's not normally done, in this country at least, it's not normally done to the point where you're not celebrated at all. You're just kind of questioned. And I can imagine if I were Patrick Reed, I would be somewhat upset that my accomplishment, holding off Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, to win a Masters, was not talked more about in that context so much as it was talked about a non-redemptive win for a guy who really isn't beloved by his peers or the fans. And it's going to be a complicated story, but as I kind of talk about sometimes, golf is this long game where we weave these points in time together to form a total story, and it takes a really long time to figure that out. So trying to tell Patrick Reed's story just hours after winning a major championship seems almost kind of a fool's errand, because I don't think you can truly do it.
Yeah, it's sad in a way, but we'll obviously see how it all pans out over the years ahead. And Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us from Washington tonight on the podcast. I'll be tuning into your very own podcast again when the next episode goes up, because I know you do one, and it's a very good one too. So thank you for your time, sir.
Thanks very much, Ryan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cheers. All the best now. Bye-bye.
Get the best prices on every round of golf with Hot Deals Tee Times exclusively from Golf Now. Available at more than 1,600 golf clubs throughout the UK and Ireland. Hot Deals save you up to 80% on thousands of tee times daily. Find the flame and save every time you play with Hot Deals, only from Golf Now.
Right, so the Masters is out of the way and professional golf just keeps on going. The European Tours in Spain at the Open d'Espagne. And John Rahm is the main draw there. From a home perspective, Gavin Moynihan and Paul Dunner in action. Rahm started with a 67, very good. And Moynihan signed for a level par 72, but that included a 9 at the par 5 fifth. It was actually down to 10.
Yeah, we forgot to mention Sergio's 13.
Oh. You did say, is there anything else of note in the Masters?
I know, but I forgot about Sergio's 13.
For Sergio, what a way to start.
Hang on a second.
Do you not think at some stage somebody says, just stop hitting that shot?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Your own inner self going, why are you being so dumb? Even the worst amateur, after
the second
2
one,
in the water, would be going, get this 50 yards past that flag. Do you know what I mean? Or at least 20.
It was a bit daft. It was a total tin cup moment, one after the other.
I just could not get. I was like, what are you doing?
That's when your caddy needs to go around and wrap the club around your head.
I was gobsmacked.
Yeah.
I was gobsmacked. I went, you are not doing this again. Do not. And he did the same shot. What, 6, 5, 6?
4 times.
It was more than that. It was like 5 times in a row.
It was so bad. Just blew him out of the water straight away.
Blew him into the water straight away. Anyway, speaking of, back to that.
Yeah, so Gavin had a 9. It was down as a 10. And Paul Dunn shares the lead at the end of the day on 6 under.
Yes, that's as of today, just as we were coming out of the house.
Thursday,
he shot an eagle on the 18th to go to 6 under, sharing the lead, which is great. The Challenge Tour is in China for the Belt and Road Colourful Yunnan Open.
That's a name. That is a name. Yeah.
The Belt and Road Colourful Yunnan Open. Round 1 has been completed. There's a 4-way tie at the top on -5. It was a bad day at the office, however, for our 2 competitors. Hodog, Michael Hoy, +10 on his first day, and Cormac Sharvin, +5.
Yep, over in the PGA Tour, it's the RBC Heritage at Harbour Town, and Graham McDowell, who's a former winner of the event, is the only home player in action.
The LPGA is in Hawaii at the Lot Championship. Sweden's Pernilla Lindberg, who won the opening ladies major of the year, the ANA Championship, the ANA as it's otherwise known, was joint 11th for after round 1. World number 1 Shan Feng led the way on 5 under par.
And while Rory was struggling at Augusta, Jordanstown-born Stephanie Meadow was grabbing her first win on the Symetra Tour, beating Cardi Silvers on the opening hole of a playoff to collect the 2018 IOA Championship. Now, Stephanie's made a really strong start to the season. She's won a couple of times on the Cactus Tour and has now sealed this win at California. And she has moved to second in the order of merit, and the top 10 will automatically be handed cards on the LPGA for next season. So here's what Stephanie said after her win.
If I had told you at the beginning of the day that you would be in a playoff after being down 6 strokes entering the day, and you wouldn't even be in a playoff with the 36-hole leader, but another one right near you on the leaderboard, what would the look in your face have been?
Yeah, I would have pretty much doubted it. I thought if I was going to be in a playoff, I probably would have had to shoot like 6, maybe 6, 7 under today to catch her. But it happens. People have tough days on the last day, and if you just stay steady and make some birdies, you never know what can happen.
What was that playoff like when you stepped up to the putt? About 40 feet, you said. When you were looking down over it, what was it like, and the nerves going through your body?
Yeah, I wasn't super nervous. I was just trying to say to myself, okay, it's all about speed, tap it in and make her 2-putt, and then to make it, and it was dead center. It was pretty awesome. Honestly, I hadn't made anything all week, so for those 2 putts on 18 in regulation and then in the playoff hole to go in was pretty special. I guess I was saving them up.
Take me through what this course was like to play this week. It seemed extremely difficult, especially with a winning score of only 4 under.
Yeah, it played firm and it was windy, so it was a little tricky to judge, approach shots, and rough around the green was thick, so, you miss the green, you have a good chance of not getting up and down. So, it just took steady play this week. I still feel like I could have, had a few better scores. I didn't make some mistakes, but that's the name of the game. You just do what you can and see if it gets it done.
Now, you won a Cactus Tour event at the end of March.
Mm-hmm.
You won your first Symetra Tour event today.
Yeah.
Your last 2 starts, you're I think that's 100% win percentage for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the momentum at right now in your game, and where does it go from here with the Iowa Invitational coming up at the beginning of May?
I just have a lot of confidence right now. Winning Cactus Tour, it's still a win. So I took that into this week, and I've been playing great for a couple months now, and I just knew I had to put it together somehow, and I finally did.
How will you enjoy this win?
Just drive home. No, day off tomorrow. Just relax and then get back at it, towards the end of the week and get ready. It's just, you got to take it in, but you can't take it for granted. You try and do it again, keep the momentum going.
What do the words chance, can and couple of months have in common?
I don't know.
If it wasn't for those words in that interview, you wouldn't have known she was from Jordanstown. Wow.
Now, remember, Stephanie's been there
since... been there for ages, I know.
14 or something now.
Oh, is it really? Is that how long?
What's that long? Yeah. The family moved over that long.
But there's still a wee bit.
Just occasionally.
We've still got a hold of her.
And it doesn't take Stephanie long to drop back into
the Jordanstown.
If she's here. That's a very important win for him. So pleased for her, because she's had a rough period there with injury, so it's great to see her.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And that's Stuart Graham, Colin Fairweather and Chris Selfridge all earned Category 3 memberships at the final stage of Euro Tour Q School. Yay.
Yeah, and Gavin Moynihan and Paul Dunn will represent Ireland in the European Tour's Golf Sixes event from May the 5th to the 6th. The draw was done today, that's a Thursday, and Ireland will face France, Italy and Scotland in their group games.
One of the premier Challenge Tour events of the year, the NI Open, hosted by Modest Golf, returns to Galgorm Castle from the 16th to the 19th of August. Register now for your free tickets at niopen.golf.
On with the amateur news, please, Mr. Kelly.
Okay, so the weather was horrendous over Easter, but all these tournaments had to be played because it was school holidays and there was golf everywhere. So we've a lot to get through, but it was great to see some golf being played. Can I just say I'm glad I wasn't playing in any of it?
Mm-hmm. I was.
So it was a busy time. County Sligo's Sean McLaughlin won the Ulster Under-14 Open Championship at Ardglass by a shot from Faith Leg's Alex King, and there was a 2.5 hour delay at one stage because of the rain. Over at Lough Erne, 41 competitors lined up for the Ulster Girls Open Championship. Spain's Nicole Joyce Moreno won the title. She collected the Fred Daly Trophy. And in the other categories, the Merlin Cup was won by Olivia Snoddy. She's from Green Island Golf Club. And the Cloud Cup went to Anya Duggan. She's from Woodstock Golf Club.
Competitors in the West of Ireland Championship battled some testing conditions over the week at County Sligo GC. Naas representative Robert Brazill beat Castle's Irish international Alex Gleeson 1-up in the final. After the event, he spoke to the GUI's Alan Kelly.
An absolute dream come true. Never ever thought something like this would happen. I'm absolutely delighted. It's the best golf I've ever played. It's the happiest I've ever been on and off a golf course. So can't really ask much better than that.
There must be something in the water in Naas in County Kildare, because you're the third member of the golf club to capture this prestigious title in 5 years.
Yeah,
that's some achievement for the club, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like, it's a great club. In terms of the members, the coaching, everybody there, everyone wants to be involved, everyone wants to know what they're doing, and of course, like, there's some great players that are ahead of me that I get to play with and test myself against. And I suppose it's the best way of learning is playing with someone better than you, see how they do it.
So the likes of Jack Hume and Johnny Yates?
Jack and Johnny, like, I've played massive amounts of golf for Jack, especially over, like, I used to be a member of Brazill with him years ago, and just watching him growing up, it was always great for me because I could always tell myself, okay, well, if I can beat Jack Hume, well, then I'm doing something good on the golf course. And same with Johnny. Like, Johnny's, you've seen him in the last couple of years, his results are absolutely fantastic. So again, when I get to play with Johnny in the course, anytime I put it up to him or beat him, for me it's a lot of boxes ticked in my head because he's a very, very good player.
You're up against a former Irish close champion and an Ireland international in Alex Gleeson today. How were the nerves standing on the first tee?
Very surprisingly calm, but myself and Robbie approached it in sort of a roundabout way. I think I said to Robbie walking off the 6th or 7th, I think I said I was only one down or level, and I said, "Joe, Robbie, at least I can't get beaten on 10 now." And I said it a lot of times, and even walking off the 16th tee box, I said to him, I said, "Look, I'm 2 up, at least I'm going down 18. So I kind of looked at it that way. Alex is a serious golfer. In my mind, before the game, I just said, right, I've gotten this far, just give it a go. And I normally I will be quite a nervous person in first tee, but just whatever mindset I was in, I didn't really feel the nerves that I felt before, basically.
The Bridgestone Order of Merit carries on to the Munster Stroke Play first weekend in May, and then on to Royal County Down for the Flogas Irish Amateur Open. Your season goals will change, as you've said, throughout the season. What would it mean to you to perform throughout the year and possibly make the Ireland team?
It'd be an absolute dream come true. It's the only thing I want to do. I'd absolutely love to represent Ireland playing golf. It would be an absolute dream. I know my parents, they would absolutely love to see me doing it. You know yourself, it's a massive honour. There's a lot of good players doing it. They get to go to a lot of nice places and play a lot of nice courses, so I don't see what would be wrong with that.
And we would like to apologise for Alan Kelly's choice of music under that interview, which sounded like a very bad 70s sitcom or an ice cream van. Right, next time we meet Alan.
Yeah, just remind him about it. Well, another Naas golfer, this time Jimmy Butler, won this year's multi-cargo limited sponsored Leinster Boys Under-16 Amateur Open Championship at Beaverstown. He beat Ellen Park's Robert Gilligan in a 3-hole playoff, and Greenacres golfer Keaton Morrison finished in 3rd place.
Ireland's Ronan Mullarney and Chloe Ryan won the RNA Foundation Scholars Tournament in St Andrews. It's the second time Chloe has won the event. She lifted the title back in 2016 as well. Maynooth University student Ronan finished on 5 under par for the 54-hole event. Chloe, who's studying in Madrid, finished on 4 over par. Both players have earned places on the international team to play against the US in the Palmer Cup in July. And Olivia Mahaffley, our
Vice President of Programming,
will also be competing for the international team.
And the GUI have confirmed that County Sligo Golf Club will be the venue for the Irish Amateur Open for 1 year in 2019. Ireland's premier amateur golf tournament will stay on the West Coast for 3 years in total, with Galway Bay playing host in 2020 and 2021 as the event moves to a new August date. And this year's tournament will be at Royal County Down from the 17th to 20th of May.
Fred Ridley, chairman of Augusta National Golf Club, announced a new tournament during Masters Week. The Augusta National Women's Amateur Championship will be held annually the week prior to the Masters and will culminate with the final round taking place at, indeed, Augusta National. The 54-hole stroke play tournament will feature an international field of 72 players. Invitees will be determined by awarding winners of other recognised championships and using the Women's World Amateur Golf Rankings. On current rankings, Olivia Mahaffley would definitely be playing.
Would not be some trip, yeah. The Irish Girls Under-18 Open Stroke Play Championship will take place at Roganstown Golf and Country Club from the 13th to 15th of April. The championship will be played over 54 holes, 18 holes Friday and Saturday, with the top 50 players plus ties progressing to the final 18 holes on Sunday. An international field of 114 players will represent 14 countries in the tournament.
Earlier today, Maynooth's Ronan Mullarney, who we mentioned earlier on, collected another title, Irish Students Amateur Open at Tralee. Mullarney carded a final round 71 to finish the 54-hole tournament on 3 under par, 1 stroke clear of Maynooth University teammate Jack McDonnell. Maynooth's Clodagh Walsh won the ladies' event by 13 shots. A busy week in the amateur world.
Andrew Morris Golf now offers 12 months interest-free credit on everything bought online and in store. New golf clubs or that electric trolley you've been dreaming of for as little as £30 per month. Drive the extra mile to drive away happy. Check out andrewmorrisgolf.com for full terms and conditions.
And that is it for episode 45 of the NI Golf podcast. Other than to say, where were you? Why were you not at the K Club?
I was working.
Well, we know that's not true. Working moves, or what were you doing?
Genuinely working, and I was also doing a bit of junior football coaching. It's getting to the crunch time of the season, and we're running for a wee title.
Oh, very good. Very good. Well, you missed you missed a great weekend.
I believe
it was good
well
fun.
looked after as usual.
As well looked after. The courses were a bit mucky underfoot, particularly the Smurfit, as you might expect. But I just love those two courses. They are, see if we ever get good weather in April, every time we
one
play,
of these days,
one of these years, it's going to be glorious. But that's where we were watching obviously the final round of the Masters and stuff.
Okay. How did you play, Marcia?
Don't ask.
Okay.
Decidedly average. There were some moments of genius.
Okay.
There always are. Just not enough of them. Would you like me to retell my how I did the Rory McIlroy 3-wood on the 16th over the water onto the green?
Well, yes.
Okay. I'll tell you all about it. So we were dormy 2 up.
You and your partner?
No, hang on. What were we? We were 2 up going down the 16th.
Okay. Right.
No. We were 1 up going down the 16th.
Okay.
1 up going down the 16th. So this is in a rematch. So I hit a half decent drive, slightly overfaded it a bit, and it was kind of in the rough on the right, about 20 yards past the Rory plaque.
Okay.
Right. So this is the 3-wood that he hit
on his way to winning
whatever it was, 270 yards. Right? So I was probably about 30 yards ahead of that, sort of in the edge of the rough, and I said to my partner, "So, do I go for the crack or what do I do?" And Jerry said, "No, you do not. We're 1 up. Lay up and chip across.
You've a shot here. We need it."
So I went, "Oh, you bore bag. Okay, right." So I said, so I took out at me 8-iron, and what did I do? I pulled it into the water.
Guaranteed, isn't it? Layups are guaranteed to go into the water.
Hooked it into the water,
yeah.
Right? And I looked at him and went, "I told you I should have gone for it." So then, just for the crack, I dropped one down. 237 yards to the pin.
All carry.
Nailed a 3-wood. Splish, splash, we're having a bath. Actually, it was about a foot from getting over the edge of it, and the flag was tight right.
Okay.
So another yard, and that would have been stitched.
Very good.
But it wasn't.
Oh, well.
Anyway. So but we went on to win anyway, because I birdied the last, and we won 2 up.
Oh, very good.
So
that was the hole. Remember, that was the hole that he hit the stunning
5-wood. It was only a 6-iron for me.
For your third?
My second. No, second shot.
Oh,
it's irrelevant it's irrelevant the green tees were 70 yards further forward than the championship tees. Anyway, here we gotta go. The bed's all finished, and that's it. Any other crack?
No, that's us. Just keep in touch on Facebook and Twitter, and if you're out and about playing golf, hopefully the weather will warm up a bit.
Is this the first proper week of back into proper golf?
There are some golf courses which will be trying to run qualifiers.
Yes, I think it is.
Fair play to them.
Fair play, because they are still a wee bit wet in places.
Just a bit.
Have a great week's golf, everybody. We'll talk to you again in 2 weeks. Bye.
All right, don't touch me.
Seawood. Shaking that ass. Shaking that ass. Shaking that ass. Seawood. Shaking that ass. Shaking that ass. Shaking that ass.
I see you, baby.
Seawood.
Shaking that ass.
Seawood.
Shaking that ass.
Seawood.
Shaking that ass. All right, don't touch me.